Hey guys, this is Joby Shaw with Let's Learn Archery. It's getting kind of close to hunting season, so I've got hunting arrows. And what would be a more fitting video than to build hunting arrows for hunting? I know it's weird, but what I got here is some 250 spined Black Eagle carnivores. I purchased these arrows through my business, through Shaw's Archery, and I'm going to build them for deer. And one of the first things that I do whenever I get a set of arrows, whether I'm building them for a customer or whether I'm building them for myself, is I'll grab the arrow spinner. What I do is I have some gold tip 55, 75, some old arrows I had back in the day, and I got a Pine Ridge spinner. They're cut at about 18 inches. Glued them back in there. And that gives me a nice stable platform to cut on these arrows. One of the things that I learned with Black Eagle right off the bat is, they have the straightest arrow on the market. I mean, hands down. I'm not gonna say anything beyond that, but I mean, as far as straightness goes, I've not yet found a shaft that's more straight than these things. They're just super duper straight. Their tolerances are also really, really good. And they're pretty darn tough, or I probably wouldn't shoot. But I'll go through this whole dozen of arrows. And like I said, these things are really straight, so I really always run into an issue of finding anything wrong with the dozen, Also make sure you're not really giving these things a yeet, even though this arrow is perfect. I don't know if you can see that, but it is absolutely perfect. Don't really give them too big of a spin. Just give them enough spin to let you know that they're true. Straight as an arrow could possibly be. It's just incredible. Well, you guys are gonna get sped up here, so watch this. Okay guys, I think I ended up coming up with something. I'm going to shoot the 2-inch drivers from a tack, and I'm going to use white wraps because, white shows up blood really good. No, the blue does not match my bow, but blue and red does go really good together, so that's what I kind of went with. I know where I need to cut these arrows. I'm going to go ahead and pull these nocks off, square these arrows off, and I will put some wraps on these things, like maybe 3 of them, if that works. So one thing that I've done in the past, and I don't know as far as like human... Joby, I just realized what I did. I wrapped the wrong stinking arrows. I got out ahead of myself and I laid those arrows up there that wasn't. Jeez, Job. You imbecile. See what happens when I try to make a video? Everything goes wrong. Oh well. I guess that's how it be sometimes. Okay, now that all the arrows are squared off from the top, we've got 7 of them wrapped here, and I'm gonna go ahead and fletch them. Reasoning for fletching them all before I cut them is I want the cutting, the squaring, the inserting, and then I will respin all of them on the end for just watching the end of them and making sure that the point of the arrow is true on every single arrow. I use a low heat hot melt for pretty much all of my inserts, and what I do is I'll actually take the arrow and I'll put it on the spinner and I'll spin and make sure the point of that arrow is just absolutely perfect. I mean, I expect the vanes to, and the back of the arrow will already be squared and the vanes to do everything I need back there. But I want that point to be really true out of the bow, so it has a really good direction, straight at the target, straight at what I'm shooting at, and that is going to help me. So I'll individually just slightly heat and twist those until I get a perfect spin on the point. And a little bit time consuming, but I do that for customers' arrows, and I just get guys that have really good dozen arrows. I should be halfway home, but oh no. Oops, sorry. One got me some of these gold tip fact weights to put in the back of me insert, and some 100 grain fill points, because I'm going to be shooting 100 grain schwacker with 50 grains of internal. May go to 200 or may go to 100. I don't know, but we'll start with 150 and then we'll see what happens after that. And as promised, from Lancaster Archery, a brand new bottle of, that was uncalled for, sorry, a brand new bottle of, that was uncalled for also, VT 2000 Vane-Tech glue. And I got a real bad habit of just trashing some of this stuff pretty quick. But you just take this little thing and poke it, and now it will release. Literally. Watch this. I can super glue my finger together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's that good. Don't put super glue on your fingers. It's not good for it. BT 2000. Vane-Tech. Focus. Not on me. Vane-Tech BT 2000. Now focus on me. Thank you. Super good glue. But I didn't find any other wraps. Let's fletch a few arrows. Make sure I'm gonna guess it to about right there. I will have a really big beard in the fall, so always take into consideration for stuff like that to make sure you're fletching. Dude, these things are gonna look so good. Holy smokes. Actually, there's my mark for hunting right there. It's just wore off. It's right there. It's an old mark. It's right there. So that's my old mark from last year. I have a really big beard. I'm going to put those fletchings out as far forward as I possibly can. You then want to take your tack. Don't beat it on the table. Just put it in your hand, make sure it's wet. And I always rub pretty liberal amount on the base of the vane. With these being white wraps, like, I'm not super concerned about run over. I will wipe it off with Q-tips, but I will I'll fill this base for the most part all the way up with glue. I mean, I will be hunting with these things. They're going to be going through animals. I do not want them to come off. And I'll let that set for like 10-15 seconds and then I'll move on. I personally don't have a lot of issues with these tack vanes falling off, so I'm going to give you guys a more up close and personal way of how I set my clamp on and everything, and then we're going to fletch some arrows and then speed mode. So I'm here on my 5th arrow, and this is all I'm going to build for right now. There's no need in building anymore, but you know, like what if this doesn't work? You know, like I don't want to have a bunch of arrows fletched the same if they're not going to group and shoot the way I want. So like if I only screw up 5 and have to refletch all dozen, it's a lot better than fletching all dozen and having to redo all dozen. Okay guys, I'm going to do the same thing. Wow, I already grabbed 5. Do the same thing with the points as I did on the inserts. The only thing I'm going to do different on these is actually knock off the spot here. I'm actually going to Sharpie my points. That way I ensure absolute perfection up top, since I did cut these with a saw. And the Sharpie will just ensure like everything is as perfect as possible. Like, nothing against nobody, but I've got like 6 phone calls during this thing. And, I don't know, like it is what it is. I mean, if people need help, they need help, but, it's just funny, I hadn't had any phone calls all day until I started doing this. But, I've got these 5 arrows. Literally, the ends are squared. They're cut. Both ends are squared. You know, I didn't spine align them on the press like I sometimes would, sometimes won't. Didn't see any huge benefits to it, that's why I quit doing it. The arrows are fletched. I just need to assemble my insert. And I've installed a lot of Ethics archery inserts on hunting arrows for, you know, heavier stuff, but I just absolutely despise having to cut the inserts. Like I don't like it. I hate having to take an extra 30 minutes just to cut inserts, and like I'll never get paid back for that. And I can't charge people labor for those things that are already too expensive. So a really good alternative is to actually just put Wow. Fact weights in it from Gold Tip. I like them. They work really well. And I've really not saw any integrity issues with the setup. Like, I think it's pretty darn solid. It's probably not as solid as the Ethics stuff. I mean, Ethics makes a super duper good component, but so how I assemble these things, I take my pliers, I hold this together, I grab the proper key here, I just go ahead and do not squeeze on these inserts too tight. Just give them enough so that it holds them in place, and then tighten that down. If it puts a little bit of a burr on it, that's okay, but you don't want to smash that, because that will just absolutely crumble. Not crumble. I made it sound like it was a piece of weak metal, but it's not. I mean, just be careful with it. Just tighten those puppies up, because once you put hot melt over the top of it, which is what I'm using, it will fix all that stuff up. Okay, so now all those are tight. I really built 6. I built 6. I meant to build 5. But anyways, this will come back into handy, and this will come into handy. This will come into handy. So, let me show you guys how to do this. Let me fire this torch up here. I do not need a lot of heat coming out of this thing. But I will hold this thing with my hand here, and I will heat the glue up, and I will just put hot melt right on the very end of the point here, just the back, and try to get that glue pretty hot, because the hotter and the more times this stuff gets hot, actually the more sticky it gets. So I got it pretty hot, and you can see it's got a little bit of bubbles in it. I will take my arrow that I'm going to put it in, and I will heat the back of this up. And don't heat it too much, because that's just not good. It'll start to darken up, and if it's smoking, it's too hot, so just kind of sit there, wait for it to stop smoking. Right as soon as it stops smoking, I'll put a little bit on the inside, and then I will actually just twist that all the way down. And if you do it right, it'll get like really hard at the end. And I got a cup of water sitting right here. I'll actually just take my finger and I'll wipe the end of that off, or I'll actually just put it in there for just a few seconds and then pull it off. And I'll do it both ways. Put that in there, and that ought to be cool. I mean, that's as cool as it gets, and it's absolutely perfect. So this is the second way that I was talking about. So basically, I'll kind of talk you through this as the video goes, but I will do everything the exact same way. I'm going to put just hot melt on the end of the shaft, or on the end of the point there. And the reason I do that is because it just allows less heat to completely get all over the point. And you know, heat will destroy carbon. So the least amount of heat you can put on a piece of carbon, the better, especially when putting it on with hot melt. But I highly recommend using hot melt, because you can take your points in and out. And as long as you're not absolutely putting so much heat on it that it's brittling up the carbon, you can do it a lot of times. And I've actually personally never had an issue. But here's just me showing you how you just heat it up or cool it down for just a few seconds. Pull that little ring off, your arrow's perfectly clean. Okay guys, now that I got those in there, I spun one while I was building it, and oh my, oh, it was pretty. Just spun it there on my fingers, but that is fantastic. This is some sticky stuff here. Good. I think that's Gorilla Get off of me, please. Get off my arrow. It's so sticky. It touches the stuff and it like bonds so hard to it. I'm gonna test all these arrows here. I mean, money. Money. We'll come back to that one. Thank goodness one of them wasn't absolutely perfect. No, it's just a repetitive perfectness. It's probably still about perfect too. What I'm seeing on this is the darn glue. I mean, it's about as perfect as it can get. I want to at least have something to explain to you guys. That is nice. So if these things was not spinning perfect, what you would do is you take a lighter at this point, heat just the point, take your pliers and slowly turn on the point of that arrow. I'm gonna pass out if I blow any more of those things. There you have it, guys. You got 5 just absolutely perfect arrows. Now I want to do one more thing because it is important. I'm going to weigh these things because everybody's probably curious what they weigh. They're a 250 spine carnivore. It's got 150 grain in the nose. With the wraps and the 4 fletchings, it's probably at my draw length and arrow length probably only 12-13% FOC still, which is whatever. Like I said, FOC is FOC. It is what it is. But I'm going to grab my scale real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, see how much these things weigh. It's the moment of truth. At this point, I want you guys to take a guess down in the comments. The closest person to the actual weight of this arrow is going to receive 100 free boning blazer veins. So do that now. Hey guys, it's the next day and my phone actually died there on that last clip yesterday whenever I was doing that. I actually went outside and shot those arrows, and to say that they shot good was an understatement. It is the next day and I'm going to shoot a couple. They've got 5 arrows, so I'm going to shoot 5 arrow groups at 50 yards with the hunting bow. Probably just one take and just be done with it. I'm going to do it cold right out of the gate and see how good of a group I can shoot. With the 60-pound mods though, the bow ended up being just like really slow. The pin gap was just not even close to what I need. So I actually ordered some 75-pound mods for the bow and may actually take the 50 grain inserts out. I know that you guys still got to guess the weight of the arrow, but it's substantially, it's enough. It's like just plenty. It's not out of my desired hunting arrow weight, if anybody may know that. Answer that question, but it's close. So I'm gonna get to shooting a little bit here and see if maybe I can lay down a pretty good group for you guys. Like I said, I'm just gonna give it one take, cold out of the gate, and I don't even know if the arrows are gonna hit where I want because I was moving a lot of stuff last night, but I'll shoot a group regardless. So let's get at it. If my calculations are correct, I should be able to hold where my 50 pin is right now, just a little bit high, and probably get close to where I want. I'm just going to try to shoot 5 arrows as consistent as I can and see what happens. because I've not heard a single arrow touch each other. But I've got 3. I had my pin like over here, so I had 3 really good, and then 3 like 2.5 inches left. I'm not real sure why, but maybe one more try. Yeah, let's do that. Like I said, I was just kind of aiming in an awkward spot the whole time, but I'm gonna do my best to aim there at the heart now that I know I'm not gonna miss the block. And this is 50 yards. I ain't gonna win anything with that shot. Pulled out 4 beard hairs. The excuses are flying already. So that was a little bit better. I still had some left arrows though, and like I said, I got 4 that are pretty solid. I mean, fit my fingers around them, and then there's that one a little wide. I'll take that being cold in the morning. You know, if that was a whitetail at 50 yards in the morning, I'd have killed it. So what is? Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I love the fact that, you know, us as humans are capable of doing absolutely anything that we put our minds to. And God gives us the ability to do absolutely anything, whether it's, you know, an archery shop or possibly a woodworking shop or a lure making shop or whatever you may have here at your home that you use to make extra money or even your income completely. Enjoyed making these arrows, and I did leave out a few steps that sometimes I do, but I just do not think that it means that much because I am able to really get super good results out of building arrows this way. Now, under really good conditions, when everything's real calm, pin set right where I want it, I know this bow is super accurate. It's 100% human error after that point. So I love that about it. I do not like the speed. The speed will change. Like I said, it's either going to change with me getting 75-pound maws or probably even taking 50 grains out of the arrows. They don't really need the extra 50 grains. It's just a personal preference. If they don't group as well, of course, I will put the 50 grains back in. But right now, this arrow, first try, first take, is phenomenal, and I really, really, really like it. So I think it's going to kill deer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video again. If you can, like, share, and subscribe. Remember, God loves you, and God bless, and you guys have a good day. I'll see you. How normal people stop a deer. Man. Yeah. Got him. Got him. Got him. How I stop a deer when I'm trying to hunt. Me, 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 me. I just don't get it. I don't understand my cats. They do this every single time I go to shoot. I literally don't lay there. Little butthead.